Welcome back to my channel. I'll be teaching us how to draft a bustier dress with conical hip and exaggerated sleeve. Please don't forget to subscribe, comment, like and share. I'm going to rule my chest line, bust point line, under bust line, waistline, upper hip, lower hip and the gown length. So I've labeled the lines all across, as you can see. Now I'm going to mark my shoulder line. So I'm going to rule a line across, then mark my neckline 3 by 3 inches, then went down by 1 inch for shoulder slope, then I've slanted the line, then I'm going to mark my neckline. So on the armhole line, I'm going to go by 3.5 inches, go in by half an inch, then rule a line, then curve the lines, the armhole. I'm going to mark the bust span measurement on the waist, upper hip level and bust point. So I'm going to rule a line across, as you can see. Then for the dart intake, I'm going in by 0.75 on both sides. Then I'm going to connect the lines to the upper hip level, just as you can see. So the next thing is I'm going to get my shoulder measurements, get the midpoint and connect the line to the bust point measurement. So I'm going to get my bust measurement, my waist measurements, and I'm going to return the dart intake of 1.5. And I'm also going to get my hip measurements. As you can see, I've marked it. So now I'm going to be connecting the lines together. I'm going to connect the lines together just as you can see me do in this video. So the next thing is to mark the bust dart of 1 inch, then connect it to the bust. Now I'm going to close the bust dart, as you can see me do. I'm going to close it properly. Then I'll take my paper tape to hold it down. So the next thing I want to do is reshape the lines so that I don't have shortage. So now I'm going to go to my shoulder. I'm going to slant it open, just as you see me do. So I'm going to be doing 50% shoulder tightening. So what I have there, I'm going to measure what I have there. I have 1.5 inches divided by 2, 7.5. I'm going to mark 7.5 there and 7.5 outside the shoulder. So now I'm going to go to my bust dart. I'm going to open it up so that I'll be able to close the shoulder dart properly, just as you see me do. So I'm going to insert this paper because of there's an opening there. So now I have closed my shoulder dart, use a paper tape to hold it down. So I'm going to remark the new shoulder line and the new armhole curve, the new armhole curve line. So that's what you are seeing me doing. So on the bust dart, I'm going to use my paper tape to hold what I have there, so I can reshape the lines. I can roll out the lines again, just as you can see me do. Now the under bust, I'm going to mark 0.5 inch on both sides. So I'm going to curve the lines, just as you see me do. I'm going to curve both lines on both sides. So then I'm going to rule a straight line to the upper hip line, just as you see me do. I'm going to mark a straight down to the upper hip line. The chest line, I'm going to go up by 3.5 inches across. I'm going to rule a straight line across. As you can see, I've ruled a straight line across. Now I'm going to make my shoulder line visible, as you can see. Then on the center front, I mark 0.75 by the side 0.5. I'm going to connect the line. So next thing, I'm going to go on the over bust line. I'm going to come down by 0.5 because I feel the thing is going to go up too much. So I'm going to rule the line across. So the next thing is I'm going to remark the darts for the tightening, the over bust tightening, and connect the lines, as you can see. I'll remark the bust tightening, the over bust tightening. So the next thing is I'm going to measure what I have on both sides because I don't want to have shortage. So where I feel is less, I'm going to replace it on the other side. So that's what I mark. So on center front, I mark 1.5 inches. So I'm going to rule a line from that place to meet the chest line, as you can see. So the next thing now I'm going to do is that I'm going to mark 1.5 inches on the shoulder. That's like the new shoulder I'm going to be using to make this dress. So the next thing I'm going to do is that on my chest line, I'm going to go up by 1.5 inches because of the style. So I'm going to connect the lines, as you can see, connect the lines. Then I'm going to go ahead and mark 1.5 inches, just like I marked on the shoulder line. I'm going to mark it on this line. Then I'm going to rule a straight line across, as you can see. So that's the new shoulder that we are going to be working with. You are going to be drafting for yourself or for your customer. So the next thing now is that on my hip line, I'm going to go out by 1.5 inches, and on the gown length, I'm going to be marking 0.75. So on the waistline, I'm going to mark 0.5 for waist snitching. So I'm going to connect the lines like as you can see. Back, I'm going ahead to mark my shoulder line, chest line, waistline, upper hip line, lower hip line, at the gown length. So I've also, yes, I'm going to be labeling it across, just as you can see. Waistline, I'm going to mark my 0.5 inches dart intake, connect it to the shoulder line. Then I'm going to mark in my shoulder measurement. I'm going to roll a straight line across. Then for the neck width, I use 3 inches, then 1 inch for shoulder slope. Then for the depth of the neck, I used 1 inch. So now I'm going to connect it down to the hip line. So the next thing is for me to mark my bust span measurement for the dart intake. So I've rolled the bust span measurement, then I'll rule a straight line from the chest line to the upper hip line. So now the intake for the dart is going to be 0.75 on both sides, as you can see. Mark 0.75. So I'm going to be connecting the lines all together. So the lines will be connected all the way to the upper hip line, just as you can see me do. I've connected the lines. Now I'm going to be marking my waist measurement, then replacing the 1.5 inch dart intake. I'm going to mark in my chest line, my bust measurement as well. Now the hip measurement, I'm going to mark my hip divided by 4, then rule a straight line across. Marked it all the way down. Then I'm going to be ruling a straight line across. So I'm also going to connect the line to the waistline and to the chest line. So as you can see, connect the lines together. So the next thing now is that on my armhole line, I'm going to mark 3.5 inches upward, then 0.5 inches inward. So then I'm going to be connecting the lines, as you can see. I'm going to be connecting the lines, as you can see. So on the hip line, okay, so on the shoulder line, I'm going to mark 1.5 inches because that's what we are using. So I'm going to go up by 1.5 inches on the chest line. So I'm going to be covering the line from the center front, from the center back to the 1.5 inches that I marked. So the 1.5 inches I marked on the shoulder line, I'm also going to marking it on this curved line. Then connect the lines together. And mark 1.5 inch outwards. Then on the gown length, I'm going to mark 0.75. On the waist, I marked 0.5 for waist snitching. So I'm going to be connecting the lines, just as you can see. Then use the curved part of your ruler to curve from the waist to the hip line. Use the curved part of it. Then you rule a straight line down to meet the gown length, to meet the length of the dress, just as you can see me do. Then you use the curved part of it to curve the lines. So now I'm cutting out the O pattern. I'm cutting them out, as you can see. Cutting out the front, the back, everything necessary for this dress. So when you want to cut the bottom part of the dress, you don't need the dart. So all you have to do is make sure that you close the dart. Just as you can see, you make sure that you close the dart, because the dart is not necessary in the dress, but make sure to close the dart, just as you can see me do. Then use your paper tape to hold it down. Use your paper tape to hold it down. This is the front and back pattern of the dress, the front and back pattern, what you'll be cutting out. Well, for the sleeve, the length I'm working with is 13 inches. So I'm going to roll 13 inches across, because that's the length I'm working with. So I'm going to draw a straight line to connect the lines. So now for the width of the sleeve, I'm using 12 inches. So I'm going to mark 12 inches across. I'm going to connect the lines as well, as you can see me do. So I'm going to mark 4.5 inches, roll a straight line just to be able to curve the lines properly, as you can see. So now I'm going to be curving the line. So I marked 2 inches inwards, so I'm going to be curving the lines, and so it can give me a puffy effect. So on the bottom part, I'm just going to connect the line, just slant it a bit. You might not necessarily slant yours, but I just did that. So now I'm going to be cutting it out. I'm going to be cutting it out because the sleeve is extravagant, so it's going to be having this puffy effect, just as you can see when you're fixing it on your